Hello students, today I am going to explain you a poem which is very simple, funny but very informative poem written by Nesbitt. The title of the poem is Today I Wrote This Poem. I am reciting this poem before you and children, you are requested to follow me carefully so that and listen to the recitation very carefully so that you can learn the actual pronunciation of the words, difficult words. Today I wrote this poem and I am not sure if it's good. It doesn't have the things my teacher says a poem should. It doesn't share the feelings I have deep inside of me. It hasn't any metaphors and not one simile. It's missing any narrative, alliteration too. It isn't an acrostic, diamante or haiku. There is nothing that's personified. It doesn't have a plot. I am pretty sure that rhyming is the only thing it's got. It sure was fun to write it and I think it's long enough. It's just too bad it's missing all that great poetic stuff. I put it on my teacher's desk and wow, she made a fuss. She handed back my poem with an A+++. So this poem is all written about a poem, about an ideal poem and the things an ideal poem should have. But it is written in a very light manner, in a very simple manner so that the small children can also understand about the poem, about the art of writing poetry. Today, and now line by line explanation. Today, this is a small child with, he may be a boy or a girl or whoever it is, but it must be a small child who has written a poem and showed it to his or her teacher. And but I am not sure if it's good, but he or she doesn't know whether it is good. It doesn't have the things my teacher says a poem should. And his or her teacher says an ideal poem should have something in it, and which are described here in the later stanzas. It doesn't share the feelings I have deep inside of me. A poem should have the deep feeling. It hasn't any metaphors. Metaphors is the art of writing poetry, and where comparisons are made between two things, but not with as or like. Here it is written in the in your book. What is metaphor? Words or phrases that describe a thing by calling it something else. Example, my teacher is an angel. Here, teacher is compared to an angel, but there is no as or like in it. And that is called metaphor. The metaphors and simile both are way of comparison between two things. But in simile, as or like are used. For example, her complexion is as white as milk. That means she is very fair, and this is the way of comparison which is called simile. It's missing any narrative. Narrative is description. It has no description about anything. Alliteration too. Alliteration is also a figure of speech. The repetition of a letter or sound which creates a musical effect. And example is given, Bobby bought a big cat. There are consonant sounds repeated in four words in it. Bobby bought a big ball, and which has created a resonance in it, and this is called alliteration. Repetition of consonant sounds in more than two words in a sentence. That is called alliteration. It isn't an acrostic. Acrostic is a poem where a poem which the first letters of each line can be read downwards to form a word that is usually the topic of the poem. It is a complex thing to understand for you, but you should know that the first letters of all the lines of the poem can be joined together and made a word which describes the topic of the poem. That is called acrostic. Diamante. Diamante is a poem which, if it is written, then it looks like a diamond shape. That means the first lines of the poems are shorter than the middle lines. First and ending lines of the poems are shorter than the middle lines, which makes a diamond shape. Here it is given a poem of 7 lines, and it consists of 7 lines where the text forms the shape of a diamond. And diamond or haiku. Haiku is very simple. It is a poem usually written by the Japanese. It is a poem of 3 lines and 17 syllables. But the author's poems was none a poet. This child's poem was none of this. There is nothing that's personified. Personification means making something, given human qualities to a non-living thing. Like the wind howls in the night. Wind howled in the night. The wind cannot howl. Howl is a sound of a living thing. But here it is the wind is given a living things attribute to it, a quality of a living thing. It doesn't have a plot. Plot means storyline. It has no storyline. I am pretty sure that rhyming is the only thing it's got. But all the poems should have rhyme in it. That is the most necessary thing for a poem. So it has rhyming in it, and which is very good. And it was sure fun to write it. And I think it's long enough. It's just too bad it's missing all that great poetic stuff. But other nothing was there. All these things like metaphor, simile, narrative, alliteration, none was there. It has only rhyme, because that is the most important thing in a poem. And it has a very good rhyme in it. I put it on my teacher's desk, and wow, she made a fuss. She was very happy to see the poem, and she handed back my poem with an A+++. So her poem championed with a good rhyme in it. So this is the most important thing for a poem. So children, this is the explanation of the poem. There is no important question and answers in it. Only what do you think is the I in the poem? The poet or a school child? Yes, the poet has talked for a school child. And according to the teacher, what elements should a good poem have? As you know, here those are given, like metaphor, simile, narrative, alliteration, personification, plot, and rhyming. These are the things a good poem should have according to the school teacher. What do you think the phrase "she made a fuss" in the last stanza really means? Made fuss means she became very happy and applauded him for writing that poem. That applauding, that means made a fuss means she applauded. And this in the last stanza really means, and this is all about this poem, and I think you have understood and followed me. So children, now I have come to the end of the video, and meet you later on the next video. Thank you.